This is the story of Wojtek. So, Wojtek is probably... Well, hang on. I know, Brad, you said you don't know who Wojtek is. The Luke.
Nope.
Clint, have you ever heard of Wojtek?
I said I know every useless information that's ever come from the military.
Okay, well then, this is the story of probably one of the best and probably youngest soldier who have ever served in the Polish military. This story begins in April of 1942, during World War II. The 22nd Polish Artillery Company in the Iranian mountains, and they had just been released from a Russian gulag. And as they were making their way to a port, they were going to meet up with the rest of their unit and then head to Egypt. This is the middle of a Polish winter, a Russian winter. So we're all around camp, warming themselves up by the fire. Here comes a young boy who was a sack, all right? And this young boy was talking to the soldiers. They really liked him, and they opened the sack to see what this kid was carrying. And this kid had caught a fucking baby brown bear that he was just putting around with him. Would you like to guess the name of this child?
I can't think of...
Later, Mama Bear's snack.
It doesn't
Soon
matter
snack.
because this story is about the bear. Because Private Wojtek
It's a bear.
is a
My
bear.
thought was like, okay, I'm gonna
the
hear...
only animal to ever be first animal to be giving a military rank and enlisted into the military of a country. So, yeah.
Yeah, and we're gonna get to that part of the story.
He was a fucking Kodiak bear from Siberia who weighed in at like 790 pounds, full grown, and was known to protect the soldiers like they were his cubs.
Yeah, so 1942, this boy shows up with a fucking bear, and the bear decides to name it Wojtek. And they traded for this bear chocolate bar, tin of beans, Swiss Army knife, some beef jerky and shit. Basically whatever they could find to get this bear, they gave to this child. And the child gave them the bear. They named him Wojtek, which means happy little soldier. He stayed happy, he stayed a soldier, did not stay little for very long. They met up with the rest of their unit, tried to hide this bear in one of the sergeant's tents. And would have worked, but Wojtek saw a group of birds circling overhead, got scared shitless, ran out of the tent, and ran straight into the leg of a ranking officer. The ranking officer looked down, looked at the soldiers, went, "This bear is adorable as fuck, we're keeping him." So they decided to keep the bear. So the sergeant decided to hide him in his tent instead. Till, I think a captain or a general was visiting, and in the middle of the night, Wojtek snuck into the officer's tent and slept with him. When he woke up, the officer just saw this fucking baby bear sleeping right next to him.
Oh, and
Was
I
like-
stand correct. I stand corrected. He was a Syrian, not Siberian brown bear.
Close enough.
Same difference, but yeah, still big ass brown bear.
Yeah, a big-ass brown bear.
And the thing was, not only that, but I think the most special thing about this dude is that they taught him how to move shit. Like, specifically pick shit up over here and take it and put it over there.
Officer decided, yes, we are keeping this bear. So they gave him a wash basin to sleep in, which he did. They raised him on a diet of powdered milk, which they fed him from a vodka bottle, because this is still taking place in Russia. on patrols, he was considered to be a necessary equipment requirement. A soldier would have to pick up, put into his jacket, and cover like a child. So it's like, all right, got my gun, got my boots, got my coat, here's a fucking bear, and let's go. Like, there's pictures online of, like, him just being carried in this fucking coat. Yeah, like Clint was saying, he learned, like, just living with the soldiers, he learned how to behave like a soldier. Like, he would wake up when they woke up, would walk around the camp for a while until it was time to go to the mess hall, where he would go and eat whatever was being served. It taught him how to identify officers and fucking salute them, which freaked the hell out of officers. So imagine your life to your country, serving in your nation's military, ranking all the way up to a paid officer, going to do an inspection camp, seeing a bear, and that bear sees you, stands up, and goes like this.
He marched on his hind legs. He didn't, like, bear
He
around.
walked on two legs. And
He fucking soldiered.
So, like, another thing that he liked to do was when the soldiers were having, like, grenade practice with oranges, he would catch the oranges in his mouth and bring them back. So he learned how to play fetch with fake grenades.
I can see that being a problem later on.
Right. So, but he would also bare knuckle box and play tug of war with other soldiers. Sometimes it would get up to like 7-on-1. And he remained undefeated because he's a fucking bear.
Yeah. You can't actually wrestle a Syrian brown bear. It's just not, like, physically. Y'all all know, y'all have all been witness of my sheer strength, and I still would not want to tangle with Wojak, the fucking bear. And Brad, even. I mean, we all know how strong Brad is. Like, pick a desk up with one hand and throw it across a room when he's mad. But
the thing, like, when new soldiers got enlisted into this unit,
they
trained Wojciech to walk over there, up the new recruits by their feet, just dangle them in front of him, and then he'd toss them around. And that was considered their hazing.
And not piercing the skin with the claws, that's pretty impressive.
There was this one time that they met a British liaison officer who had a Dalmatian, and the officer was afraid, and he learned that, oh shit, there's a bear in the camp. Thought the bear was going to kill his Dalmatian. They couldn't find the Dalmatian, nor could they find Wojtek. Found both the Dalmatian and Wojtek raiding the company storeroom for food and just hanging out. Wojtek and this Dalmatian were best friends, dude.
This is where you go get food? He's like, yeah, you just go eat.
Speaking of things that he would ingest, before he turned 5 years old, he was already on a diet of liquor, whatever food he could find in the storeroom, and he learned how to open bottles and drink them by himself. He would also eat coffee, drink coffee, and eat cigarettes. Only lit ones, though. If you offered him an unlit cigarette, he'd look at you like you were a bitch and turn his nose away until you lit the cigarette. He would put it in his mouth, take one puff, and then swallow it. By the time he was 4, he was 6 feet tall and weighed between 485 to 500 pounds. This dude was fucking Rooski. And another thing that he'd like to do, he would watch the soldiers take showers, right? And fucking got to the point where he learned how to turn the showers on and off. Granted, this is in the middle of the desert, right? Where water is kind of a resource. He would walk into the shower room, turn on the water, and then just sit there and watch the water flow. To the point where he was causing, like, water shortages across the entire base. And they had to lock the shower rooms. One day, he saw the shower room unlocked and decided, fuck it, I'm going to go in there. He found I think it was an Arabian spy, was coordinating and gathering information to attack the Polish soldiers. Spy turned around in the shower room, sees Wojciech, and screams so loud that the other Polish soldiers heard him. He immediately gave everything up. Like, he spilled the information so fucking fast. Because imagine, like, you're a spy. I'm assuming in spy school, they train you for a lot of shit. Theirs probably is not one of them.
So actually, he didn't pass away until 1963.
Yeah, no, he lived to be like 22 or something like that.
Yeah, 1,100 pounds, 500 kilograms. That's insane.
Then,
shit.
Yeah, he was a big boy.
Big bear.
So during a Christmas party, got super drunk. He locked the storeroom, right? He gets super drunk and basically just punches his way into the storeroom. And ate. I say this, I mean it literally. Everything. He ate everything.
He run him out of water multiple times.
Yeah.
The whole company, like, we're talking an entire company of Polish soldiers melting snow so they can have more water because Wojtek drank the whole bathtub. And we're talking a military company's bath water. He drank the whole thing. Got drunk. Probably did a little bit too much of that Afghani blow that they had floating around over there, and ended up like drinking an entire bathhouse and eating an entire storeroom. Come on, guys.
Okay, and
sure,
and one
this
time
bear would just sit there and get drunk with the soldiers. Like
that's what they
hang
hoped.
out in the tent, hugging on a vodka bottle, like. I take a bear.
I'm
this is my trusty friend.
By the end
So
of
over there in the storeroom,
you know that bear
eating the
growls with a
oranges.
Russian accent, like. Da, 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 da.
I just imagine like Wojtek with the oranges hammered as shit, going, "Fire in the hole! Oh. Fire in the hole!" Oh.
Dropping them in his.
And one time, like, so the company had to drive through the Italian coastline, right, to go up to Egypt. He saw a group of Italian women chilling by the beach. He was interested in was the water. So he jumped out of a moving car mid-convoy and ran as fast as he could towards the water. However, those women happened to be between him and the water. So these Italian chicks turned around and just see this 500-pound Syrian bear running at them. And the first thing that the commanding officer did was grab the megaphone and go, "Oh, don't worry, he's one of the good ones." Like, that was going to give a shit.
Move out way, going out the water. You in way.
Wasn't the only brown bear, or he wasn't the only bear in the Polish army. So there was this other division, it was an infantry division, and they were given a bear as a gift by the Shah of Iran, whose name was Mikhail. Mikhail was an asshole. Like, he was known for being very vicious and very mean and just all around, like, everything Wojtek was not. This bear was just like the epitome of shit dickery. And so there was one day where Wojtek and Mikhail met. And as soon as Mikhail saw Wojtek playing, with the soldiers and being a derpy little bear, he tried to fucking kill Wojtek. And Wojtek, after they wrestled a bit, literally sent Mikhail to the infirmary because Wojtek almost snapped this bear's neck like a goddamn glow stick. And, like,
Okay.
Right. Like, they had to
Like, I
retire
feel-
They had to retire Mikhail to the zoo, and they ended up trading him for a monkey, which I think.
Damn.
Russian Animal Squad.
So, like, once they got to the port, sailed to where they were meeting for the the unit convergence, the port master said that Wojtek was not allowed on board because the regulations said no animals or mascots or pets could be allowed on the ship with the soldiers. So the Polish army was just like, okay, fuck it. We are officially enlisting this fucking bear. They gave him a rank, private. They gave him a checkbook. So he was getting paid for his time in the military, and they gave him a soldier's serial number. So he was the first bear ever to be officially enlisted as a private just to get on this fucking boat, right? And so they get there and they meet up with this guy named Archibald Brown, who did roll call and got to the Egyptian front. So fast forward to 1944 at the Battle of Monte Cassino. What the Battle of Monte Cassino was the Axis powers had taken this chapel, this like castle monastery type deal, turned it into a fucking fortress. And the Allies were given the mission of taking that fucking fortress. So they were going up against sniper fire, machine gun fire, enemy soldiers, enemy artillery, and they were getting bombarded. So Wojtek, seeing all of this shit going on, in the middle of a hail of gunfire and explosions, was like, I could probably do that. So he started picking up artillery crates, 4 or 5 crates at a time, and just lumbering them through the crossfire and dropping them off at the artillery guns so they wouldn't run out of ammunition. Now, granted, like, once they opened the boxes, most of them were empty because he is a bear and doesn't know the difference. But he was picking up legitimate ammo crates and walking through the gunfire. Was not hit a single time, which if you're a sniper, you should be fired. If you see a 500-pound, 6-foot brown bear and you can't pop that motherfucker.
You know, on the behalf of probably the sniper, they probably had it on the scopes and probably like, do you see this motherfucker?
Like, just like the thought of disbelief of like, why is this bear here? Why is it even here? Why isn't it running away from all the fire and all the sounds?
Picture the radio chat.
And do
going
I
on at
see
that
a
moment.
fucking ammo crate in his hands?
Right.
Right, like, being on the other end of that radio call, like, we got him pinned down, Sergeant. We're gonna get... Is that a fucking bear?
Excuse me, soldier, what did you just say? No, nine, you heard me. It's a fucking bear. These motherfuckers got a bear.
I don't think.
So, anyway.
What?
They brought a cave troll.
They brought a cave troll. So Wojtek carries these ammo crates and make sure that these guns don't run out of ammo. And the Allies actually end up winning the Battle of Monte Cassino. And it was estimated that Wojtek had personally carried over 140,000 rounds of ammunition. And that led to the victory effort, which made him not only the first and only bear ever to be enlisted, but the first and only bear ever to be promoted in the Polish military. And after that fight,
at rank of corporal.
Yep. And after that fight, the 22nd Company of the Polish Army actually changed their logo officially to a bear carrying an artillery shell over his shoulder.
Yep.
And they put that shit on tanks, they put that shit on their uniforms, on their
Every
convoy
vehicle
trucks.
they drove in had that
Oh,
right
yeah.
on the fucking front. Bam.
And by the end of it, Wojtek had served in the Iraqi front, Syrian, Palestinian, and the Egyptian fronts in World War II over a span of the entire war, so about like 3 years.
So you
And then,
think about it. He was also because he's a warrior, a sorcerer. He has license, so technically he was an actual citizen. So would that mean he would be getting paid for
Yeah, he-
advertising it
he
himself?
was getting paid. To the point,
money.
no. Once the war ended and the division was broken up, he retired on a Scottish farm where he would attend city dances by invitation and children's birthday parties because he was considered a local celebrity war hero. He still received pension, and in 1947, he was moved to the Edinburgh Zoo, and they tried putting him in with the other bears. He had spent so much time around people, he did not know what a bear was. So he would just sit in his cage, looking confused as fuck. Just like, what? Like, I've seen these things before. Are they trying to throw hands? Or, like, why are they around me? So, like, they had to move him to his own enclosure. Not only was he a war hero, not only was he a celebrity, but he retired to basically his own estate in the Edinburgh Zoo. And, like, his old battle buddies would come up and visit him every now and then, and he would recognize them. When they would come up, he would, like, do this head nod thing. And to them, that was him requesting cigarettes again. Because it doesn't matter if you're a bear, nicotine is an addictive chemical. And he would, like, do the same thing. They would light the cigarette, toss it in his cage, would catch it in his mouth, take one puff, and then swallow it, and then ask for another one. Because, I mean, damn, the dude's been through some shit. He was a chain smoker. And, like, yeah, 1963, I think, is when he actually ended up passing away at 22 years old, which is about how long a Syrian bear is supposed to survive. And it was due to esophagus complications, because once again, the motherfucker drank whiskey and ate lit cigarettes.
Every day.
Every day. And, like Clint was
He was a
saying,
chain
by the
smoke
time
eater.
he died, he was fucking like almost a half ton. He was a fat boy. So, yeah.
Monkey.
That is the story of Wojtek the Bear. How do you guys feel about this information?
Yeah.
It gives me a better idea where the bear came from on Critical Role Season 1.
Trinket.
The bear was always the bear. But what happens when the bear decides it wants to be a human? That's the question. And not just a human, but what happens when a bear decides he's a human and a soldier?
Right.
That's Wojtek.
Or hybrid.
That's Wojtek. He just decided one day, I'm not a bear no more. What are you? I am an artilleryman. Okay. If you say so. Yes, I say so. Now hit me with some more vodka and another cigarette, or I'm gonna eat your fucking head.
I'm imagining the Battle of Monte Cassino where he's watching all of this shit go down. They're like, oh, I think we're gonna lose. He's like, hold on my vodka. Slams the shot back, takes a drag of his cigarette, eats the fucking cigarette, and just starts running the artillery shells.
Running.
Then he burps and fire comes out because he lit a cigarette and drank whiskey.
They would have retreated. They would have left the guns and the bullets and everything had Wojtek not stood up and been like, no, we fight today. And fucking started carrying shells to them motherfuckers. Like, hey, I got y'all. They looked up and there's this bear standing there with a crate of fucking ammo. Like, no, we don't give up
Slow motion running through the battlefield, explosions going off in the background. Breathing
fucking
fire.
Fucking movie.
But it's a bear. Just doo, 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 doo.
That should be a movie.
Well, I'm saying, like, there's like this Russian superhero movie where it's basically like the Russian version of the Avengers, and their version of a Hulk is just a bear. Like,
Wojtek's a bear, right? Yeah, but
don't
you're
know.
talking like unreal situations in unreal times.
Right,
You know.
and don't get me wrong, like in Poland, they've made several movies about Wojtek the Bear. One of them is called The Bear Soldier. Another one's like The Bear War Hero, and then the
He
other
actually
one,
has his own auto now.
yeah. But,
See, that's
like,
what I'm imagining. It's just
send me that picture.
that's literally all I'm picturing right now. It's just what the shit? Look at that too. Like just sitting in the foxhole with a mortar. It's just chilling.
Yeah, send
All
me
I-
those pictures.
Dude, all I literally did was just Google Wojciech. That was all I did, and then just went to images, and that's how I'm getting all these. There's one of him holding a fucking. Okay, gotcha. They're just
It's a
chilling.
It's 118 millimeter Polish artillery shell, bud.
Yeah, he's literally just holding it in his, in his fucking paw.
He's
Like,
just
all right, cool.
chillaxing with it. Like, I'm gonna hold this for right now, but when you need it, I'll give it to you.
But for
You
now, this
carry
is mine.
This is mine. Oh, you need this? Well, I'll grab another one. This is mine. Oh, you need this? I'll grab another one. Oh, this is mine.
Like, also, like, the fact that some of those artillery boxes at Monte Cassino that he dropped off were just empty ones. Also,
Look back and there's this just fucking line of artillery shells along the path, and it's just like, well,
Oh,
at least you tried.
it's like he drops off the box and the Polish soldier's like, "We're saved." They open it. Fuck.
He
Damn it,
was
Royce.
just grabbing. But you got to think, like they were all stacked up there. He didn't know which ones were empty or
Right.
not. He was just grabbing them.
He was doing his
He may have
best.
just been grabbing the fucking empty pile and hauling it back over there, but he was
Right.
at least trying. Okay, I know real soldiers that didn't do that much in battles. All right,
Right.
They hid and
come
hide.
on.
Brave,
Give the
brave,
man some
brave,
credit.
brave
He
Sir
tried.
Robin.
We're
Also,
trying to
like-
catch bullets.
But also think of that mail carrier that was responsible for delivering the pension checks at that time. You get the address for the Edinburgh Zoo, and you're like, oh, maybe he's like one of the zookeepers. Maybe he's a janitor. And they're like, yeah, no, he's in that cage over there.
We'll deposit it for him right here in this account.
Yeah, I have a check here for Wojciech.
Just over there sitting on his ass like, "Brrr."
Bar.
He's acting like, give me the whiskey and give me the cigarettes.
I'm saying his pension checks are just not really a money. It's just a fucking case of vodka and cigarettes. That's it. That's all he's getting. That's his pension.
Vodka, it's even better.
Right. See, but I wonder if the zoo kept him, stocked up.
I mean,
I
the
mean-
zoo's probably not gonna give him those things because it's a zoo.
I actually just seen an article. I was just looking through different articles, and it says, and I quote, Wojciech the abused bear, the Polish, what did it say? Oh, the misuse of Polish, or the misabuse by Polish soldiers. Are y'all fucking serious?
Okay, this was in
They're trying to cancel Wojciech
1943. That bear was the happiest motherfucker. Like, imagine if your life from day one was doing soldier shit, drinking vodka, and smoking and eating as much as you wanted. Like.